medically, for example, to help a preterm infant survive and develop optimally. Now, if you go to the scenario, though we all know that breast milk offers a lot of protection to the baby, but still our neonatal mortality, infant mortality, rural as well as urban, we have not reached a single-digit number like Sri Lanka. Now, what are the problems for breastfeeding? Now, most of the time it is the overcrowded government hospital. You can see the photo of Sassoon Hospital PNC ward. It's just like a CST terminus station. The lack of trained lactation consultants and counselors, they are not there in the government hospitals and medical colleges. There is a delay in the early initiation of the breastfeeding, mostly because of the atmosphere in the labor room, which is not child-friendly. There is a need for having child-friendly labor room if at all we want to initiate breastfeeding in the labor room itself. Now, most of the hospitals and the state, they have the policy of discharge within 48 hours for normal delivery. Only Rajasthan government does not follow this rule, and they discharge when the mother is confident to feed the baby on the breast. Not many misconceptions are there among the general population.
Voice has gone. Also, Sangita, recording is not happening. Sandhya madam, we can't hear you.
Madam,
this is the recorded version.
This is the recorded version which I have already sent.
Madam, you can tell na in between.
Yeah, if I tell it's okay, then I just share the screen with me once again. I'll speak. No issues.
Sangita,
Madam,
can madam speak?
will it be okay? You just share the screen.
Now, the WHO UNICEF gave a joint resolution in 1980 where it is
Just a
not
minute,
possible
ma'am,
for the biological mother to breastfeed. The first alternative, if available, should be the use of human milk from other sources. Human milk banks, therefore, should be available in appropriate situations. Now, go back to previous. What's human milk bank? By definition, it is an institution established for the purpose of collecting, screening, processing, storing, and distributing donated human milk that is dispensed to recipients who are not the biological offsprings of the donor mothers. The origin of the human milk bank, it is not new. It is mentioned in our ancient mythology. Yashoda Maya, she was a wet nurse to Devakinandan Gopal, Lord Krishna. Pannadhai was the wet nurse to Raja Udham Singh. The concept of wet nurses was existent right from the 17th century. Now, if you go to the history of milk bank, the first official milk bank was opened in Vienna at the outset of 20th century. In Boston, 1911, another milk bank started. First milk bank in UK, 1937, in USA, 1947. After the First World War, formula feeds gained popularity, and then only 3 functional milk banks were existing in early 70s. With increasing scientific data supporting the nutritional and immunological superiority of the breast milk, the demand for donated human milk increased, and the human milk bank once again gained popularity. Now, worldwide list of the human milk banks, and even the list in India right now as it stands, we have 117 human milk banks. Now,
Hello?
this is a
हाँ प्रॉब्लम क्या आ रहा है मैडम?
Sangita, I think madam can speak if you share her PPT instead of
Okay.
this recorded version.
అదే నేను మధ్యాహ్నం పెట్టలా అందుకని ఓకే
Dr. Sangita, madam is ready to speak now.
Yeah, I can speak. I'm seeing the slides.
Madam can speak. You just share her PPT.
along with that community medicine department. Now, if there are any interdepartmental ego problems, then the functioning of the human milk bank is totally paralyzed.
Hello.
There are certain ethical issues.
रिकॉर्ड करके भेजा तो भी हम नहीं जानते। आपने किती छान
We are not able to hear. Please rectify.
We consider in India, human milk is considered as a nutrition supplement.
Sangita madam, don't mute yourself. That's why audio is breaking out. Sangita madam, don't mute yourself. Sangita ma'am.
Challenges will be there for starting any human milk bank. Now, when triplets and twins they are delivered in the hospital, milk from the human milk bank definitely helps them and creates lot of positive vibrations among the students as well as among the donors. These triplets born at JJ Hospital, they were my greatest source of inspiration for starting the human milk bank. And my passion for human milk bank started with these triplets who were born with the birth weight of 800, 750 and 650 grams in JJ Hospital way back in 2001 when I did not have a human milk bank. The mother was very much sensitized, she's Kalyani, and she was telling me that I want to feed all my triplets on breast milk. But one of the baby was getting less, and so she was very pertinent not to give any other feed. So at that time, thanks to Sion Hospital, they mobilized the human milk, and we used to get it from Sion. One of the interns used to bring the milk from Sion for this baby.
No, please.
But literally, I should say that I have grown with these triplets. The names were given as Diksha, Divya, Daksha. Today, as it stands, they are like this. And this is what an intact survival, which I have given to 800, 750, 650 grams, but purely feeding them on human milk. No doubt, human milk bank works wonderfully, particularly when you have low birth weight babies in the NICU. Next. This is Prathamesh, a newborn who was found in the garbage in Hadapsar area, Pune, and he was brought to Sassoon Hospital by the police on 15th of February. The baby was in poor condition. The ants had bitten the baby like anything. This is the dustbin where the baby was thrown. The baby was given the name again Prathamesh by our staff and the residents, and milk from the human milk bank was provided. In BJ Medical College in the NICU, we have a separate cradle for all these abandoned babies. We call them Le Kamsa Ladka, Le Kamchi Ladki, our pretty child. And we take care, feed them with the human milk from the milk bank. And Prathamesh is discharged and adopted from orphanage. At present, he is in New Zealand with his adopted parents undergoing education. The credit goes to the milk from the human milk bank, apart from all other care which was provided in the NIC. Our greatest source of inspiration and our pioneer for the milk bank in India, we cannot forget Armida Fernandez madam, my friend, philosopher, guide, guru, everything for all of us. And she was the initiator for starting the first milk bank in Asia at LPMG Hospital, Sion, on 27th November 1989. The IYCF Chapter and the HMB Association of India has now decided to celebrate this date as National Human Milk Bank Day. After Madam, the first human milk bank in government medical colleges in Maharashtra was of course initiated and started by me at JJ Hospital, and no doubt Armida Fernandez Madam inaugurated the second milk bank also. Again, because of all the work which I had done in the government setup, I was transferred to BJ Medical College, and there again we started a human milk bank on 19th of November, and we got the donation from Bank of Baroda to start the human milk bank. From the milk bank, we reached up to the level of milk van. This was also mobilized by the Rotary Club of Pune, and our innovation for milk collection gave us a BMJ award for Best Maternal and Child Health Practices in August 2017. Now, very proud to say that till date, van at BJMC was the first in India, the state of the art and first of its kind. But now we have a second van in India at Amravati, which was recently inaugurated, and they have also started this milk collection van at PDMMC Amravati. Now, when you plan a comprehensive lactation management, nowadays we say CLMC rather than human milk bank. Phase 1 is the medical college with NICU. Phase 2 will be the district hospitals, and at the district hospital with large STH and functional SNCU, you can have lactation management units, and all the delivery points, there should be a lactation support unit. This is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare Government of India guidelines. Now, prerequisite for a health facility to establish lactation management center. You have a written policy on breastfeeding, which is very important. Must practice early breastfeeding for all deliveries, irrespective of normal and cesarean section deliveries. Must practice the policy of rooming in of the babies, separate babies from mothers at any point of time. Must provide IYCF counseling at each contact with mother newborn diet like ANC, postnatal ward, and during neonatal follow-up and during the routine immunization. Practice only breastfeeding and no artificial feeds for sick babies, preterm babies, low birth weight babies, babies with cleft palate, and HIV mothers. It should have full-time neonatologist or pediatrician dedicated staff for lactation management, which is essential for CLMC. Must have laboratory facility for testing for hepatitis B, syphilis, VDRL, and HIV-1 and 2. Team visit made to already established and functional lactation management centers in the country. No public health facility should be allowed to establish lactation management center if they lack efforts on promoting and practicing breastfeeding. I was transferred to BJ Medical College in 2008, but it took me almost 5 years to start the human milk bank because the breastfeeding practices in BJ Medical College at that time were.
Hello friends, there is some technical issue. So just madam has shared us slides and I'm going to just play the slides and then madam will speak on that. So please be with us. There are definitely some tech issue. Please be with us. Hello Pallavi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sharing the slides.
Share the slide. Yeah.
Requesting you not to unmute yourself till
Yes.
the slides will complete and the presentation will complete.
Okay.
Requesting
And then
all of you. Thank
also.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Sandhya ma'am, good evening. Pallavi here. From which slide I should start? Please convey me so that I can move.
I think Pallavi, you just start from the very first slide. I think that will be help because half an hour we will cover. You start from the very first slide. Madam, it is okay now? And then
Run the slides.
yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good afternoon to all of you. Sorry for the little bit of inconvenience and greetings to you all from Maharashtra. And I'm going to tell you something about the journey of the Human Milk Bank. Next slide. Come on, run the slides. Next slide. Yeah. So my journey of Human Milk Bank in India as such started from the milk bank, establishment of the milk bank up to starting the innovative human milk collection van. Journey definitely was not very smooth. It had a lot of turbulence, turmoil, lot of efforts were taken, and accordingly we started this particular milk bank and reached what we have today. Next. Now, I would like to say that every unit is born with a hope and message that God is not disappointed with man, and mom at whose breast humanity is nourished and civilization is cultured. And remember, mother's own milk is the best, and you cannot replace mother's own milk. Human milk from the milk bank is just a stopgap arrangement, and it is a secondary option where the biological mother is not in a position to feed the baby. And remember, this is just a stopgap arrangement till the mother is fit to feed her own baby. Next. Now, all of you know this, breast milk is a nutritive, emotional, intellectual link between a mother and her baby. And whatever might be the advancement, you cannot humanize the animal milk. Next slide. Even to the brain, yes, stem cells do transfer these organs to the offspring. Future research must concentrate on how this phenomena can be salvaged medically. For example, to help the preterm infants to develop optimally. Next. Now, if you go to this particular scenario of neonatal infant and maternal mortality, all of us know that human milk and breast milk, breastfeeding is the best, and the best way to protect the child and promote breastfeeding is very important. Still, we have not able to reach the single digit levels as Sri Lanka has reached. Next slide. Why it is not possible? Why there is so much problem in breastfeeding? The reasons are multifold. One is in overcrowded government hospitals. Nobody has time to speak to the mother, and breastfeeding requires lot of support and counseling. The overburdened healthcare staff who are busy preparing all the registers and entering so many things, they don't have time to speak to the lactating mothers. We do not have lack of trained lactation consultants, etc. are not there in many of the hospitals. Delay in early initiation of the breastfeeding is always there because our labor room is not at all child friendly. It's such a chaotic atmosphere in the labor room that it's not possible in many places to initiate the breastfeeding. Most of the hospitals practice discharge within 48 hours for normal delivery, which is very little time for the mother to get acclimatized for breastfeeding. Lot of misconceptions is still there among the general population, which we are not in a position to remove from the public. Promotion, protection, and advertising for breastfeeding. This is absolutely not.
Clear
Husband is burned. So there are time constraints are there, and if at all you want to promote breastfeeding and practice breastfeeding, it requires a lot of passion and patience. Next slide. Now, gender bias is again a big problem. Though we are all speaking about women empowerment and all, in many states of our country, the second or third female child always neglected, and the mother never feeds this baby on the breastfeeding, and so many problems arises. Next slide. Now, pregnancy again, the common woman does not glorify her pregnancy like these Bollywood people. In fact, pregnancy is very important. It has to be glorified. I like Kareena Kapoor because she was the first lady who glorified the pregnancy. And some of the Bollywood stars like Diya Mirza, extreme preterm baby, they have fed on human milk, but they are very few. Common rural urban population, the mother as such, her pregnancy, her childbirth, nothing is glorified and no attention is given to her most of the time. Next slide. Now, WHO UNICEF joint resolution, where it is not possible for the biological mother to breastfeed, alternative feed if available, that should be the use of human milk sources. Now, human milk bank should be available in appropriate situation. This is what the resolution says. Next slide. Now, nowadays we call human milk bank as Comprehensive Lactation Management Center. Now, it is an institution which is established for the purpose of collecting, processing, storing, distributing the donated human milk dispensed to recipients who are not the biological offspring of the donor mothers. Now, if we go to the origin of the human milk bank, it is mentioned in our ancient mythology. It's not new at all. Yashoda Maya, she was a wet nurse to Lord Krishna. Pannadhai fed Udham Singh. Then the concept of wet nurses was existent right from the 17th century. Next. Now, as the availability of the wet nurses dwindled, breast milk banks were introduced. The first official milk bank was opened in Vienna in 20th century. In 1911, another milk bank was started at Boston in 1937 in UK and in 1947 in USA. But after the First World War, formula feeds gained popularity and these functional milk banks existing in the early 70s. Next slide. This is the list of the human milk banks. Recently, Aarti had given a very good Excel sheet of all the milk banks in India. Right now, they are functioning 170. Many of them are functioning and some of them are not functioning. But we have been in a position to have the complete list thanks to Aarti Kinikar madam. And the list in a click, it is open, but somehow in this video, I am not able to share. Whoever wants the list, I will share to them. Next slide. Next slide. Next. Yeah. There are certain challenges and constraints when you start or when you plan a milk bank, as such, there is no separate budget allocation for the milk bank, except in few states. Most of the milk banks which we started in Mumbai, they are through the donors. But then the donor provides just one-time grant and annual maintenance contract and all is not done. There is no sanctioned staff except Rajasthan government, which has really sanctioned around 9 total dedicated staff for the human milk bank. Difficult to get experienced people. Coordination problems are there between hospitals and standalone human milk banks. Running cost of the milk bank is most of the time not provided in the budget because it requires lot of cleaning and lot of material needs to be procured. So running cost is not worked out. And for the well functioning of the human milk bank, you should have a complete coordination and cooperation between minimum 3 departments, that is microbiology, OBGYN and pediatrics, and of course community medicine. If there is any eco problems in this department, then the functioning of the milk bank is totally jeopardized. Next slide. Now, there are certain ethical issues, that is kinship relations which bar the marriage. Like if 2 children have received the milk from the same mother, then they are considered as brother and sister. Because of this particular problem, we inaugurated the milk bank in Bangladesh, but the religious leaders forced it to close. Now we don't do HACCP, that is hazard analysis and critical control points. FDA approval not required. We are not taking it. Human milk as such in India, we consider it as a nutritive supplement, but actually it is a tissue fluid. So safety issues, still it is pending and we have to think. Next slide. Now I will share certain success stories where the milk bank has benefited, particularly for triplets and the twins. This is all our triplets from BJ Medical College who were all fed on human milk bank milk and they all grew very well. Next slide. Now this is the very touching to me and my heart. That is the triplets who were born in JJ Hospital way back in 2001, weighing 800, 750 and 650 grams. These were the greatest source of inspiration for me to start the human milk bank as such. The residents named them as Diksha, Divya, Dakshak. I think I have grown along with them actually, and today the triplets look like this. They're all studying in college, and we have given an intact survival to them by providing the milk from the human milk bank. And to these mothers, the milk which we brought was from Sion Hospital. They came to our rescue, and from there one intern used to bring, because the third triplet used to get less and the mother was very keen on feeding the baby on breast milk. And so we used to mobilize it from Sion, and then that gave me a thought and a strong desire to start a milk bank at JJ Hospital. Next slide. Now, this is a newborn who was found in the garbage bin in Hadapsar area, thrown by the parents. And the ants had eaten this baby's entire body as such, not many bruises the child had. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. We keep a separate cradle in Sassoon Hospital for all these abandoned babies. In Marathi, we call them Le Kamcha Ladka, Le Kamchi Ladki, means our pretty child. And this child was also named by our residents as Prathamesh. Milk from our human milk bank was provided. The baby grew very nicely. Next slide. All the wounds were healed. And Prathamesh was discharged and adopted from an orphanage. This child is at present in New Zealand with adopted parents and studying and pursuing his education and all. So what a great thing which we could do because of providing milk and because of having the human milk bank with us. These all give you a lot of inspiration to start and to work for the human milk bank. Next. the first human milk bank in Asia, our friend, philosopher, guide, and the pioneer for starting the human milk bank. We can never ever forget Armida Fernandez Madam. My heartfelt pranams to her and our first milk bank in Asia. It was started on 27th November 1989 and she took the initiative long way back, and from there onwards the journey began. Of course, the first human milk bank in government medical colleges in Maharashtra was started by me in 2006 at JJ Hospital. No doubt, Armida Fernandez Madam inaugurated this particular human milk bank. Next slide. The second human milk bank I started when I was transferred to Government Medical College, PJ Government Medical College in Pune. After working for the milk bank in 2006, I was shifted to Pune. Government of Maharashtra transferred me, and here also we started, which was inaugurated in 2013. Next slide. From that onwards, we proceeded. We had problems because the collection and the donor collection was less in the milk bank as such. And so how to increase our collection? We thought upon having a human milk van so that this vehicle goes house to house and in particular community it goes and then they collect the milk. It is stored in the vehicle only in the refrigerator. The milk containers are kept. The van is brought back to the center and from there processing is done. Because of this van, the milk collection at PJ Medical College increased and this particular innovation of ours received the BMJ award for best maternal and child health practices in 2017. Next slide. We were very happy to be the first initiator for bringing the vehicle and milk collection on. BJ is the first and the state-of-the-art van we brought. But now I am very proud and happy to say that in Amravati, the second milk van has started and at PDMMC, and this milk collection van was recently inaugurated and now we have this in Amravati. Next slide. Now, in the last 15 years, the human milk has been transferred from just an embodied food substance into a very tradable commodity. Breastfeeding has become a total politicized public health issue with its own biopolitics. Next slide. In India, this New Lacta Life Sciences Private Limited, it was incorporated in 2016. This is a registered company selling all human milk-based nutritional products. This is the only commercial human milk processor, and more recently, some non-profit sector milk banks are opened, Delhi and Bengaluru, Amara milk banks. Now, what is happening is those mothers who are not ready to feed their baby on the breast, they are opting now to procure these milk from the commercial market. The milk is being sold at a very heavy price, and many people have got the satisfaction that they are feeding next to human milk only they are giving to the babies, and this has become a little bit trend nowadays in many of the big cities. Next slide. As per national guidelines on lactation management, donation should be done voluntarily without any monetary benefits, and donated milk should be used to feed the baby who is admitted in the hospital free of any cost. We are not supposed to take any finances for distributing or disbursing the human milk. Next slide. In some countries, men are now drinking breast milk to build muscles because of the immune booster effect, which is there. Some companies are manufacturing cosmetics, acne cream, immune booster chocolates, etc., taking the advantage of the benefits of colostrum. Next slide. This is a bodybuilder who says that I want to grow like a baby, and so I am going to eat like a baby, and he's drinking this human milk to keep himself fit. This is total misuse of human milk. This milk is meant for the baby and should not be consumed by anybody else. Next slide. Now there is a need to focus upon license for opening with renewal policy. legislation of total processing, legal impact should be there. Drafting a bill for legislation and regulation for HMB is the need of the hour with almost 117 functioning CLMCs in India. Next slide. Stringent laws should be enacted urgently to stop this commercialization. All these federations should come, and the IAP Women's Wing and WPF Forum, we should be on the top to say that we should have a legal regulation and a proper act for all this so that this commercialization is immediately stopped. Next slide. Dream is not what you see in sleep. It is something which doesn't let you sleep. This is the sentence of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, which I like very much. And a journey of 1,000 miles, they begin with single step. Next slide. And we all began. The first step was taken by Armida Fernandez, madam. She started the milk bank, and from there we have all reached what we are today and how many milk banks we have in India. Now, what you get after doing so much, or what is the reward you are getting? For me, I am really very happy and proud because I got a standing ovation for my talk at the LAMCON. I got an international recognition for being the task force expert committee member for human milk banking in India and abroad. So if you make your efforts and if you start working one day or other, definitely you are getting benefit and many things can be done. And last but not least, the satisfaction which you get by starting a human milk bank, by feeding a baby on the human milk and giving the benefits of mother's milk to the baby, whose biological mother is not with the baby. This is something wherever it is possible, wherever it is feasible, wherever it is accessible, please try to start a human milk bank and see to it that every baby gets only mother's milk, and if not the milk from the mother, then definitely only milk from the human milk bank. This is actually my very, very humble suggestion and request to all of you who are patiently here to listen to my talk. Next slide. Last but not least, breastfeeding at its best. This is the Bishnoi woman in Jodhpur. If animal can be fed on the breast, why not another baby whose biological mother is unable to feed the baby? This one picture, which is an award-winning picture, actually gives the entire crux and the importance of the human milk bank. My heartfelt thanks to all of you for giving me this particular opportunity to speak about my journey and the journey of human milk banks in India. Sorry for the little bit of problem which we had. There was a very stormy weather 2 days back in Mumbai. So I thought that let me record and send so that in the last moment there should not be any problem. Anyway, thank you so much. WPF Forum, all my seniors, my pranams to R.K. Agrawal sir for being there, my pranams to Asha Venkappa madam and all seniors who are here. I have in fact learned many things from all these people who have literally worked very hard for the human milk bank, and behind every successful woman, there is always a great woman, and behind all of us was, is, and always there is Armida Fernandez madam, who took the first step, who started the milk bank. And so thanks to madam and thanks to everybody.
Yeah. Extremely sorry for the inconvenience in the very beginning part of the today's session. I request Dr. Shalaja Mane to just take over the further proceedings for question and answer session. Dr. Shalaja Mane, yes.
Yeah, I'm very much thankful, madam, for beautiful talk, and I apologize all of you that I could not join on time because I was having emergency meeting here from the management. Anyway, and sorry for the apologies for the technical glitch. Thanks a lot, respected Dr. Sandhya Padse, madam, for beautiful and by heart talk. So welcome Dr. R.K. Agarwal sir, who is the legend and mentor of all of us in IYCF. Welcome, sir. Now I request the participants to please post your questions in the chat box. Meanwhile, okay, I'm having one question from Nagamani madam. How will you stop commercialization of milk bank? Big question, madam.
Yeah. It is not a single person, one person cannot stop it as such. We need to bring a bill. And I'm waiting for 4th of June, new government. Once again, we will all put forward our white paper. We'll go, we'll meet everybody, and we'll see to it that some legislation and regulation comes and some stringent punishment laws, etc. are enacted to stop this commercialization of the human milk.
See, we are having laws are at place. What we have to ensure all of us to become a brand ambassador for stopping the commercialization or to fight, marathon fight, I must say, for the commercialization, against the commercialization, I mean to say. And we have to see to it that law is followed and law is implemented. Implementation law is a problem. So wherever we are there in the country, all of us can be vigilant and at least notify it to IYCF and local government or local IAP. Through them also, at least at our level, we can start little bit of opposition to them, and slowly I hope it will come up. So there are other questions, madam. What are the guidelines to start human milk bank?
There are guidelines. Recently, Indian Academy of Pediatrics, we had a national consultative meet and the revised guidelines that will be shortly published. But before that, 2016, IAP has published the national guidelines. We have the guidelines from MOHFW for CLMC. I will share my slides with whoever wants, and I'll give you the guidelines which are there.
Madam, I will share the link and I will post it in the group, madam.
And rather, madam, we will post it in a website also. WPF.
Yes. Is it mandatory? Next question. Thank you, madam. Is it mandatory for all medical colleges to start human milk banks?
I think it should be made mandatory. We have written to NMC that this point has to be taken. We don't know when they will pick up, when they are going to revise that MSR standards, minimum standard requirement for pediatric department, OBGY department, community medicine department, for postgraduate starting courses. We have written that milk bank should be mandatory in this if you want postgraduate courses. So let us see if the NMC comes out, if some amendment is made in that MSR, then definitely it will become mandatory.
Can I add to this, madam?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
See, yeah, we have conducted in 2015, we have conducted a conference on human milk banking. It was International Conference of Southeast Asia. Dr. Sangita madam was also a part of that conference. And during the inauguration, we have requested Dr. J.P. Nadda, who was then health minister at that time. So after that, he had released the guidelines. It is not mandatory, but he had released.
Unmute yourself.
Every medical college in our country should start human milk bank, and at district hospital as well. Even government of Maharashtra had released the guidelines. So it is not a mandate, but it is a GR.
Can I also add, actually, we have now budget also allocated in the National Health Mission.
Yes, that's what
and
is the next question.
Yeah.
Funding and sustainability.
Yeah, for starting the milk bank through the NHM and through the governments.
See, for funding and sustainability, Asha madam, some states like government of Maharashtra, government of Tamil Nadu, Amma had given a good support at that time actually. And there are various NGOs like Rotary Club. Our milk bank is also with Rotary Club had supported. But this Rotary clubs and all NGOs support only for equipment. Sustainability has to be, means ongoing expenses has to be borne by the institute.
Now NHM will give the fund, Shailaja. NHM is given the guidelines to fund this milk banks. So we have fund to recruit doctors, recruit the personnel also
Going
and
also?
maintain them. Every year the budget will be
Very
given.
good. Very good.
Dr. Shailaja, someone had asked, Dr. Mamta Pandey has asked, any guideline for maternal health for donating breast milk?
Yeah, there are guidelines in place. There are Government of India along with IOSF had released the guidelines, and there are international guidelines as well. European Milk Banking Association guidelines are there. HEMBA, Human Milk Banking Association of North America guidelines are there. But we have modified according to our Indian context. So there are guidelines which says that whatever we are following, I will tell you now.
Hello, Dr. Shailaja, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello,
Huh.
Madam, you want to highlight?
Hello, Sandhya ma'am.
Yeah, actually in my presentation, I had given who can donate, what are the guidelines and everything. I have told you, I'll share the presentation with all of you. There are guidelines for selecting the donor criteria, collection, for everything the guidelines is in place, and accordingly we can plan.
Next question is by Chaya Madam. Neolacta is government approved. It is not approved at all. Madam, will like to tell further story?
Actually, there is no such thing as a government approved and all. They received a notice and all that was there. But once again, somehow the things went on, and then the sale is not prohibited as such. It is available. They are marketing. People are using. So I will not be in a position to tell whether it is permitted, not permitted, but they received a notice. Definitely, there was a notice which they had received and all. So seeing that notice, we were really very happy that something has been done. But then again, they could manipulate it. Nowadays, it is all the days of so much of manipulation. We cannot tell much about that. We have to bring a bill. We have to pass laws and stringent punishment. Unless and until we have all those things, this commercialization and sale of these particular products, that will not stop. And our own people needs to be sensitized. This is something which is really very, very important. Our own pediatrician, our own obstetricians and gynecologists, they have to be sensitized, and they should be in a position to explain about the breastfeeding, and we should be the brand ambassadors for that, just like Shailaja told. Unless and until we do that, it will not be possible.
Yeah, Dr. Sushma Malik, Madam, good afternoon. Madam had written that 3 to 4 small maternity homes can come together and have one HMB, right?
Yes.
Madam, will Sandhya Madam. So whatever government guidelines says that CLMC, Comprehensive Lactation Management Center, should be one or can be less, but satellite centers like lactation management units can be more, and central pasteurization testing can be done as per the guidelines. So that's what Sushma Malik means actually. So next question is from Mamta Panda. That is not question, that is a pic actually. Thank you. Okay, we'll take definitely. Thanks a lot, which is said by Kalpana Madam, that excellent presentation. Do you accept donated milk from lactating women collected at home for pasteurization? Sandhya Madam?
In our milk banks, we do not accept it if she has collected at home, because how she has collected, what is the safety precautions she has used. But if she is ready to come to our milk bank and donate, we definitely accept, or we get our van to her house and then we will collect. Because when we tell the mothers to collect, we are not that sure what is happening with the collection procedure, because all very sterile precautions needs to be taken, and it has to be collected in a very good way. Container, that sterilization part, that is all very, very important. Otherwise, unnecessarily, we will get contaminants.
Further, Sushma Malik Madam had written that CLMC funds are there and NRHM has the funds, right? That is discussed. Jayashree Deshpande Madam had said that very informative session, Madam. And Sushma Malik had further written that it is not permitted, this Neolacta, but they have manipulated again. And FASSI has taken out the notice 2 days ago. Okay, Madam, can you highlight about what is there in the notice? that commercialization is prohibited. But actually, are they taking any action about it?
That notice doesn't have any clarity at all as such. It's not clear.
Okay.
It's not at all clear, and so
Okay.
you cannot take it as a notification, just it is there. So that's why I didn't mention about that. That needs some clarity, and it has to come in the form of some public message as such.
Yes. Dr. Sushma Malik madam had further written that yes, actually we are allowing home collection. Yes, madam, we are also allowing. But educated mothers, the reports and all, video call we do. And if they are fitting into the criteria of donation, we tell them the guidelines, how to collect and how to do the collection in sterile environment, how to collect in sterile container, and how to store it date-wise and all. And the mothers who are doing it properly, from them only we are collecting. We are also accepting actually.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ರಕ್ತ ಪುಷ್ಟಿಗಳನ್ನು ತಾಲೂಕು ಬರ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Anybody else is having any question? Madam, what is the future of human
want
milk
to
bank?
ask directly, can ask the question.
Yeah, madam, what is the future of human milk banking? Quick comments, please.
ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
Can you mute somebody who is talking, please?
Yes, sir.
Sandhya madam?
Done.
Sandhya madam, what is the future of human milk banking? Even
Please
Dr.
try
Sushma.
human milk and technology. Many things can be tried, which is being tried in some countries. But then I have a feeling that more and more milk banks should be established. But it's just not merely establishing it, but then functioning, collection, and the beneficiaries who are getting the milk. Many times, just because somebody is ready to donate, somebody just immediately starts the milk bank and a big inaugural function and everything is done. But ultimately, when you go there, the milk bank afterwards is not at all functioning. People don't know how to do, and then there is no staff, there is nobody there, and how to handle. So whenever any new milk bank is started, I always say that best wishes for your proper functioning, which is very important. Because this requires lot of commitment, dedication, and this is a area where you cannot expect any revenue. From here, no revenue will be generated. And so, as such, when you are starting, it has to function properly, and the beneficiaries should utilize it properly. And for that purpose, more and more human milk banks should be started.
Actually, as per the guidelines, CLMCs can be started, and lactation management units will be, if we establish it more, that will be better for the further proper functioning of the milk bank actually. And another thing is, yes, madam, you rightly said that at least one not dedicated, but at least motivated, passionate person should be there at each milk bank. Then only that will run properly. Otherwise, it is not so easy, but it is easy to start, but it is difficult to sustain. So sustainability should be taken care of first before establishment. Thought of over it, and plan should be there. Then only it will become successful. Yes, thank you, madam. Sure. Quick comment from Dr. R.K. Agarwal sir and Dr. Sushma Malik madam, please.
Dr. R.K. Agarwal, sir, unmute yourself. Sir, first you unmute yourself. Dr. R.K. Agarwal, sir, please unmute yourself and give your comments.
It's a wonderful program. I salute everybody, and especially the women wing of IAP. Only thing, one request, that you become member of Human Milk Bank Association of India. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your blessings and guidance always, sir, and motivation most of all. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Sushma madam had written that important advisory, that is commercialization, processing and selling of human milk is not permitted in India, which is actually good news, but I don't know how much it will be practically followed. Thank you,
True.
Dr. Roshan from PATH, that sustainability should be taken care of. Dr. Kalpana madam had written taste. Anybody is talking?
Shailaja, can I say something?
Hello, Pallavi,
Yes, yes,
please
please.
mute all. Please
Hello.
mute all.
Yes, ma'am.
See, making opening of human milk banks in medical college should not be made mandatory. Instead of that, concentrate on skill transfer for milk's transfer. Why do we always have to find another alternative to a naturally occurring thing? Those people who are started the milk bank, fine, but don't make it mandatory, which is extremely difficult when the medical colleges did not plan for it. That's number one. And I would like to say that you have 117 human milk banks. Please do a Google form or something, get information from them. What is happening? Is it sustainable? Because one-time investment, like Sandhya Katse rightly said, her journey was very emotional, very rightly said. But subsequently, they're not getting funds, and human resources is the biggest challenge. Think about all this and collectively work on this. The first take is take an opinion from the 117 milk banks in terms of physical facilities, staffing, infrastructure, and what are the drawbacks, etc., with a caution that it is getting commercialized, and we are hearing many stories about it. The Neolacto court case is happening in Karnataka High Court, and Arun Gupta is following it up. We can get information from him. What is the present status? But they continue to sell 15 ml at 300 rupees. Thank you.
Yes, madam, totally agree with you. And it will be a long legal fight also, at emotional and social level fight also. And we all have to join. And I appeal on this forum of women pediatricians to our chairperson, Dr. Sangita Bafna, that we all should join the hands for this fight.
Yes.
Next one, Dr. Kalpana madam had written that test for CME is now mandatory for donation, right, in India, because of various reasons, obviously for availability and for the expenses also. What to do with the milk if baby of the donor mother turns out to be CME positive? Sandhya madam will like to answer.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Madam, there is one question. Test for CMV is not mandatory for donation. What to do with the milk if baby of the donor mother turns out to be CMV positive? This is the question from Dr. Kalpana Subedi.
Actually, we discard it.
Okay.
We do not accept, we discard it.
Discard it. And before donating and before receiving to the beneficiary, we take a consent, high-risk consent, sort of, we completely take a consent that I am ready to donate the milk in this human milk bank, irrespective of all any things which is there. There is a very authenticated consent form. Similarly, for the beneficiary also, whoever is receiving, we are taking a consent, just to keep in place that if something goes wrong, then we have already taken the consent and then we have distributed. But in case if anybody turns positive, then that has to be discarded.
Yes. Asha madam already said and written that suggest to collect the information from existing milk banks to be collected. I think in between people from LTMJ had connected and they have published also one paper out of it. Dr. Sushma Malik madam, will you like to have a comment on it? Can you please make a comment on it?
Dr. Sushma Malik. Sushma madam, please unmute yourself. No.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You have unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, madam. Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
yes madam. Yes, yes.
Because I'm in Manila in Philippines and I'm joining
We are,
from
you
here.
are audible, madam.
At
We
the
can listen
outset,
you.
firstly, thank you very much Yeah, thank you very much to WPF for doing such program. Also, me, I have been attending a few and not able to attend, and yourself having this program along with Sangita, of course, and wonderful job done. And there, of course, the FSS AI has come up. It's only an data as yet. How much it will benefit us, I'm not too sure. They are not coming out with legislation, and laws are really
I think Madam is having some take.
Yeah.
India abroad, without punishment, no laws are followed. Let me tell you, you want to make money, so they always make money on it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Aarti Kanikar,
Kinikar, yeah.
highlight
That's
some
what I have
points,
seen.
please?
Yeah, Aarti Kinikar, madam, please give your valuable comments.
First of all, let me congratulate Khadse madam as well as all the participants. And I think madam always talks from the heart because she has had a very long journey with human milk banks. Just recently, a few updates because I took a session in Armed Forces Medical College conference on human milk bank, the challenges and what is the future. So there was a survey done in the US that in the next sort of 10 years, how much is the demand for human milk banking going to go up? And they have predicted that about 8 to 9% rise in human milk banks is expected primarily for the babies who are preterm. But they have always highlighted that promote breastfeeding. So without promoting breastfeeding, don't go to increase the number of human milk banks. I have worked with madam in government hospitals. It is very easy to establish a milk bank. Very, very difficult to keep it going. So at BJ, we have it running for 10 years, but the human resource, then the milk van, the funding that is required for it, though it helps all the babies in the NICU, we have cut down on the formula feeds in our 59 bedded level 3 NICU, which is a big achievement for us. But at the same time, what we found that a good lactation consultant in the postnatal ward is much, much more sort of beneficial, who will promote breastfeeding. And once you promote breastfeeding, naturally, when the mother's lactating, she feels like donating the extra milk. And that is going into the community where people are coming forward to want to donate in the milk bank. So it is required, but it should be integrated with the NICU rather than standalone. And when you have multiple NICUs, then networking is more beneficial. You can have a centralized bank where it is tied up. It's a spoke.
Yes, madam.
Yes, so that will definitely help rather than everybody spending money on the
Exactly.
bank. So sharing, but through this, and rigid rules, regulations are required. But even if the regulation comes, we as individuals should be wanting to follow it. We try to find loopholes.
Implementation is the problem.
So the rules, regulations will come, but we will have to make up our mind. And through the Women Pediatric Forum, I think so we can, once the rules are formed, we have to make it implementable and we ourselves will have to follow it. So thank you, Khadse madam, once again, and all Dr. Shailaja for moderating the session. It has been wonderful listening to you all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Question, Dr. 3C, Dr. Alpana Shukla, Dr. Nirmala Joshi, Dr. Geeta, Dr. Chitra. Anybody want to ask any question? Otherwise, I think
Chitra madam, Dr. Chitra Kulkarni had written that third world is full of resources and waste makes money out of it. how to control it. Chitra madam, let us control our country first. Whatever is in our hand, we should do. And it is very difficult to control. That is obvious.
Yes, but we can have some our consensus and rules which we can follow.
Yeah, that is the main thing. No, changing of mindset to follow the rules is difficult. And that's why we have to fight and we have to promote the means IYCF Act. If IYCF Act is followed properly, because it is written in that also, government guidelines are there, government GR is there. Now, newly they have released that commercialization is to be stopped and all. But I don't know, there are various loopholes and how these players, big players, play their games is obvious.
Yeah.
So let us hope
Dr.
that
Alpana
it will
Shukla,
be. Yeah.
any question from anybody?
No,
Or
it's fine,
anybody
ma'am.
want to add something?
No, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is the time for now vote of thanks, and I'm extremely sorry. Just the tag glitch we just faced in the very initial period of this session. Dr. Gita Patil, you want to ask something? You want to add something in this? Otherwise, we just.
No. I think it was great. I think little technical thing. I could not hear everything well. Maybe I think recorded version will be a good thing. And what Shailaja Mane was telling is correct. We have to follow the rules, IYCF rules properly. So the things will not happen. What is mentioned that unless we break the law, the things are going to happen. It is going to be commercialized. No? So it may not happen if we follow all properly. Thank you.
And very much strict also.
Rightly said, Gita madam. And I'm very much thankful to Women Pediatrics Forum and all office bearers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So thanks to all of you for bearing with us with Women Pediatricians Forum, because this was the really big tackles we had. But we can't just help for that, but I will help to just share with the YouTube links, recording of these YouTube links in our website also and in our WPF YouTube channel also. Now over to Dr. Bhavna Gupta, who is a budding pediatrician also, and who has just given excellent talk in our Goa WPF conclave. So over to Dr. Bhavna Gupta for giving us vote of thanks.
Hello everyone. Warm and graceful evening to everyone. And this wonderful session has filled this evening with the enjoyable learning and knowledge. On behalf of Women Pediatrician Forum, I would like to extend my vote of thanks to the entire audience for bearing the technical glitches and be there with us for the entire session and attending this third episode and making this series a wonderful and successful series. It's my privilege to extend and propose the vote of thanks and acknowledge the contributions of our worthy speaker Dr. Sandhya Khatse ma'am, for giving this wonderful talk. There were some technical glitches, but ma'am, really, you have enlightened this evening for us and we have really enjoyed your session. I would like to thank Dr. Sharja ma'am for moderating this unique and useful topic of human milk banking for us. I would like to mention deep sense of appreciation to Dr. Himamindu ma'am, the founder chair of WPF, and Dr. Sangita Lodha ma'am, the chairperson and backbone of WPF ma'am. Ma'am, you are the biggest source of inspiration and strength of pillar for our all future endeavors. I would like to extend a hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Radha Sanadya ma'am for all her contributions, who is the Honorable Secretary of WPF, and Dr. Elizabeth ma'am, who is the Vice Chairman, for always being there and enlighten our path and encourage us. I would like to thank Dr. R.D. Agarwal sir for his special presence in this session, who is the founder chairperson of IYCF chapter of IAP. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Artik Kinikar ma'am for her valuable comments, who is the Secretary of Human Milk Bank Association of India, and a very special thanks to Dr. Asha ma'am and Dr. Krishna Malik ma'am for their valuable comments. Extension of sincere gratitude to all the participants for their active participation and making this session a memorable session for all of us. And once again, a sincere thanks to the audience for being there with us along with these technical glitches. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now we will take a photograph with Dr. Sandhya Khatse madam. Someone has requested, I think Dr. Panda. So madam, we want to take a picture. So you all put your video on and we will take a picture.
Excellent program. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Yeah, she wants to, yeah, I think you will just join with every time. So this is the photo time and click. Session 1, part 1, and then this is part 2. Yes. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining and very with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.